Recently, I spoke to the amazing Matt Hawn, who, as a chief product officer and in his other roles, had a lot to talk about what we can learn and things we can do to improve and help us when we're scaling our product teams. Now, it's an area that myself and Henry talk quite a lot about, and I talk a lot about on your Product North Star podcast. I really hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. So, over to myself and Matt.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is, like I said earlier, there's music companies aren't really designed to think of themselves as the product, right? We were originally, when I was first brought in, they didn't have a product team. And so there was no product people when I got there. There was a product owner who was telling a dev team a list of things that they wanted them to build, and until you really start to back up from that and you start to build a culture of understanding the customer journey, understanding the phases your customers go through, understanding the jobs to be done on it, and you can really document that, then you can start to figure out what parts of the problem you're going to attack. And so, while it started slow, there was a couple of product people. The challenges I think we mostly faced was getting people to understand that we were all playing on the same page. I had marketing teams saying, no, this is us. We do this part, and sales, no, we do this part. You guys are here to deliver things for each of these things. No, you guys understand this has to replace your goals have to be common goals, shared goals within the company, and we have to have the same ones. And that was hard. And that sounds pretty basic, right? I mean, we all should all be pulling in the same direction, but it's really difficult in product teams that don't get that established early, that you have the sense that this is going to be a product-led company or a customer-centric company rather than and built on the customer journey, not on marketing's goals this week, which could be somewhat disconnected from a sales team's goals.
Mm. And how would you kind of resolve those kind of stresses between sales and products? I mean, I was talking about an example today where I used to work with this great enterprise sales dude, and he was always really interested in the tech. But I remember saying, what is about 4 years ago, 5 maybe, we were talking about, like, he was like, what's the next big thing? And I was like, chatbots. We were talking about all this stuff. And then he came back a week or two later going, yeah, I've just sold like one of the UK's biggest retailers. I'm not going to mention their name. Like, I've sold them on our new chatbot solution, and we're going to do chatbots for them. And I was like, dude, I haven't said anything like that.
Yeah. It is a tricky one. I mean, I think that this is the tough thing with a sales organization, and this is a B2B versus a B2C kind of difference, right? With a B2C company where you're trying to build a consumer product where your customers are really direct and you're selling direct to customers, is very different than when you have a sales organization or account-based selling where they've got a promise and they've got a client relationship. And they're often very protective of that client relationship. I mean, kind of rightfully so, right? The sales team is your best surface area to the customer in some ways. So if you don't, and it's really difficult. I mean, they're out there trying to sell something and they want something new each time, and it's really difficult to kind of go back with the same story, like, oh yeah, we improved our conversion rate, 5%. They're like, yeah, that doesn't make the sales guy anything better to sell. He doesn't care about that. So you really do have to balance between the things that will delight a team like that, and to be able to lay out a vision for people. And this is where I think product roadmaps do have a place. I know there's a whole lot of noise in companies about, oh, you can't have a roadmap, right? We're agile. We only do things 3 months ahead of time, and we're super adaptive. And you often have to lay out a vision for where you're going. That doesn't mean you're going to get there exactly in the same way or with it in this particular car, but you have to be able to say, we're going to drive from New York to California, and we're taking the southern route, right? That's our path. Now, we might go through Albuquerque, we might go through Santa Fe, we might take a detour to Utah and see Bryce, right? I don't know. But we have a plan, right? One of my favorite product guys is Scott Belsky, and he talks about data being a compass, not a map. And I think that's really important, right? People expect the map to be very specific. And the compass is a better metaphor because you use it to course correct as you go. But you have to get them on side. You have to get those salespeople on side, and they have to trust, and they have to be part of your process.